Center for Consciousness Studies.
Então, eu vou começar falando um pouquinho sobre chakras para que vocês possam entender como é que funciona a clarividência, tá certo?
I'm going to start talking a little bit about chakras to help you understand what is clairvoyance. First, clairvoyance can happen in a more primitive level or in a more advanced one. What is clairvoyance in a more primitive level? It's the one focused on the ego, that is, for people to discover things that will happen to them and to others. Also, to solve ego issues, like personal, emotional, and affective issues. This kind of clairvoyance is quite primitive. It's like when someone asks you, "Hey, do you think I'm going to get married?" This is a classic question. You may be laughing, but it's, "Could you see if I'm going to find a job? Could you check if my husband is seeing another woman? Could you see if my wife is doing this or that?" You are situated in the ego level, in the most primitive behavior, where you give importance to things you gain or lose. This is where you are. This level of clairvoyance is. One day you ask, "Could you see if I'm going to win the lottery?" This is very primitive, isn't it? It's the difficulty humans have when dealing with their own lives. They aren't connected to things that surround them. So, this is a kind of clairvoyance. This kind sees little, fragmented things, flashes, moments, but it doesn't have linearity because it works in pulses. Let me explain what is a pulse. If anyone here gets angry, this is a pulse. If someone has an anger outburst, this is a pulse. It's a moment. Your life is like that. Analyze yourself. How do you deal with others? How do you deal with yourself? Your life is a roller coaster. In a certain moment, you look at someone and get mad at them. It means your chakras are working in an internal conflict level. Do you get it? The emotional chakras are the lowest, and are located below the heart chakra. These chakras work in response to the environment. Whatever happens in the environment, it immediately triggers a chakra response. This response happens because the person's consciousness is anchored in the three lowest chakras or in all lower chakras. There are more than three. We only mention three to be easier to understand. We have the sex chakra, the spleen chakra and the navel chakra, which are the most mentioned in books. But there are more chakras. We have the liver chakra, which has the same size as the spleen chakra, but it's not very popular because it's an efferent chakra. It emits energy most of the time, like the laryngeal chakra. We have chakras that absorb energy most of the time, and there are those that are very. The amount is smaller, but they exteriorize energy most of the time. But they absorb energy as well. These three lower chakras respond to the environment almost independently of our will. Why almost independently? If your consciousness is in the emotional chakras, they'll surely respond to the environment, whether you want it or not. You have no chance. If you are in the heart chakra, especially in the upper part of the heart chakra frequencies, you will be in control. Then, they don't react against your will. If I am not clear in my explanation, please ask me, otherwise you will end up saying, "Moisés, I didn't understand anything." Let me give you an example. When you are afraid of something, do you have butterflies in your stomach? Do you? Only 3 people? Who else has this sensation? Yes, you have butterflies in your stomach. Do you know why you have this sensation? Because your instinctive chakras exteriorize energy to the environment to compensate and protect you. This is the kind of response you can't control. Can you? I won't have butterflies. No, you will have it anyway, because your consciousness level is located in the emotional chakras. Your response to the environment is defensive. It's triggered by what you are as consciousness. The response can be different too. You may have cramps, stomachache or a sudden headache, or a back pain. Oh, my back started hurting. You may feel your legs weakening and think, gosh, I almost fell. Yes, your chakras are flowing energy. But which ones? All our body joints, all of them. You can even check medical books to see how many joints our body has. They all have chakras. Right? Why? Because they need to support your body. You have chakras in your knees, and when you lose energy, you tend to, oops. Your legs get weak, but it's not the only place you can lose energy. You lose in the other joints too, like the feet. If our condition is emotional, we are instantly affected by the environment. Our clairvoyance perception will be more primitive too. But can this person become a clairvoyant? Yes, but they'll have a primitive perception. They won't have a clear perception nor a total control of the ability. That's why when someone tells me, I am a clairvoyant, I say, okay. That's the best answer you can give to them. That's it. I think that to perform anything in spirituality, if you really want to conquer a sincere space, you need a much better journey than this one. This path requires devotion. You can't improve without acquiring knowledge. It demands effort. People who really practice spirituality stay far away from nonsense other people like spreading out there. What kind of nonsense? Come see me and I'll tell you what will happen in your life. Telling someone about their future won't solve anything for them. Do you agree with me or not? I've already done that. When I was young, I really made these mistakes because I was still immature, related to the recovery of my consciousness capacity. Your consciousness is getting recovered through your effort. There's a path to be made that is related not only to this life, but also to previous ones. Due to our ignorance, we believe we can't see our previous lives. Because if you see your previous life, you will commit suicide, you will go crazy. No, this is a big mistake. This restrains our capacity to understand all we are. None of you here are only what it's in front of me. You should have the possibility to look for 30 seconds all you have been. Then you would be ashamed and say, I need to work. For sure. This is what we feel when we look at ourselves and say, gosh, I need to work a lot. I have lost a lot of time. This is exactly what someone told me once. Moises, I think I'm wasting my time. I said, you are wasting time longer than you can imagine. You are wasting time in this life, but you've been wasting time for many reincarnations, and this is the moment you can enjoy the most and stop wasting time. Now you're here and aware you can do it. You have to take advantage of this time. For this, we need to get out of the instinctive area. This is the dangerous area. This area keeps us stuck in a very primitive condition from one reincarnation to the other, with a dull and foggy mind. So, Our instinctive chakras react to the environment, like when we have fears, those butterflies in the stomach, that tingling we feel when we sweat, and others. Your buttocks can get cold too. I mean, we have all those sensations that are the result of the chakras working. But isn't it a physiological thing? The physiological is multidimensional. Physiological goes beyond this body. It is all you are. All your other vehicles. This body is a vehicle, and this is the most dense vehicle you have. But you have an astral vehicle and a mental one. All of them are connected and present here and now. You just can't be conscious in those vehicles, but you have all of them now in total activity. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Your consciousness is in the physical body.
Mas você tem eles agora em total atividade. Senão você não estava nem aqui. A sua consciência está no corpo físico.